a heartwarming testimony to brighten your week. From Sunday to Sunday, I want to share something with you today that has been weighing on my heart. Something beautiful and transformative that happened to me over the past 7 days. You know how sometimes we mark our lives by years, by months, by seasons. But there are these rare moments when a single week can change everything about how we see the world. That's what happened to me. From last Sunday to this Sunday, my life didn't just continue, it transformed. And I need to tell you about it because maybe, just maybe you need to hear this right now. Last Sunday morning, I woke up feeling heavy. You know that feeling when you open your eyes and before you even remember what day it is, there's already this weight pressing down on your chest? That was me. I had been carrying so much for so long. Work pressures, relationship struggles, financial worries, health concerns, and that constant nagging voice in my head telling me I wasn't enough, wasn't doing enough, wasn't being enough. I dragged myself out of bed and went through the motions of my morning routine like a robot, barely present in my own life. I remember standing in front of the bathroom mirror, really looking at myself for the first time in weeks, and I didn't recognize the person staring back at me. When did I become so tired? When did the light in my eyes dim? When did I stop believing that good things could happen to me? I felt like I was just surviving, not living, just getting through each day without any real purpose or joy. And the worst part was that I had accepted this as my reality. I had convinced myself that this was just what adult life looked like, that everyone felt this way, that hope and happiness were things I had outgrown. That Sunday, I made a decision that seemed small at the time but turned out to be the catalyst for everything that followed. I decided to take a walk. Not a purposeful exercise walk with a fitness tracker and a predetermined route, but a real walk, the kind where you just put one foot in front of the other and see where you end up. I walked through my neighborhood, really seeing it for the first time in months. I noticed the way the morning light filtered through the trees, creating these dancing patterns on the sidewalk. I saw a child's chalk drawing on the pavement, a rainbow with the words "You are loved" written underneath in wobbly letters. I passed an elderly couple holding hands on their porch, and they smiled at me, a genuine smile that seemed to say, "We see you, you matter." Something shifted in me during that walk. It was subtle, like the first crack in ice before the spring thaw, but it was there. I realized I had been so focused on everything that was wrong, everything that was hard, everything that was missing, that I had stopped noticing the beauty that surrounded me every single day. I had stopped being grateful. I had stopped being present. I had stopped looking for reasons to smile. Monday came, and I decided to do something radical. I decided to approach the day differently. Instead of waking up with dread, I woke up with intention. Before I even got out of bed, I said 3 things I was grateful for out loud. My voice was shaky at first because it felt strange, almost silly, but I did it anyway. I was grateful for my bed, for the roof over my head, for the fact that I had another day to try again. It sounds simple, maybe even trite, but something about speaking gratitude into the universe changed the entire energy of my morning. At work, something unexpected happened. You know that coworker I had been having tension with for months? The one who always seemed to criticize my ideas and make me feel small? I decided to approach them differently. Instead of being defensive or withdrawn, I asked them about their weekend. I genuinely listened when they talked about their daughter's soccer game and their worries about their aging parents. And you know what? Behind all that professional friction was just another human being carrying their own heavy load, trying their best to get through each day. We ended up having coffee together, and by the end of our conversation, we had found common ground. The tension didn't disappear completely, but it softened, and I realized that so much of my stress had been self-created, built on assumptions and walls I had constructed in my own mind. Tuesday brought a challenge I had been dreading for weeks. I had to have a difficult conversation with someone I loved, a conversation I had been avoiding because I was terrified of conflict and rejection. But something about the shift happening in me gave me courage I didn't know I had. I approached the conversation with honesty and vulnerability instead of defensiveness and fear. I spoke my truth, but I also listened, really listened, to theirs. And while it wasn't easy, while there were tears and uncomfortable silences, something beautiful happened. We connected on a deeper level than we ever had before. Honesty, I learned that day, is a gift we give to the people we love, and vulnerability is not weakness but incredible strength. Wednesday was my breaking point, but not in the way I expected. I received news that an opportunity I had been counting on, something I had invested months of hope and energy into, had fallen through. My first instinct was to crumble, to let this disappointment confirm all my fears that good things weren't meant for me. I sat in my car in the parking lot and felt the tears coming. But then something strange happened. Instead of fighting the tears, I let them come. I let myself feel the disappointment, the grief, the frustration, all of it. I didn't try to be strong or positive or push the feelings away. I just felt them, fully and completely. And then, when the tears stopped, I felt something I hadn't expected: relief, clarity, freedom. Because in letting myself feel the disappointment, I also realized that my worth wasn't tied to this one opportunity. My value as a human being wasn't dependent on external validation or success. I was enough, exactly as I was, with or without this opportunity. And more than that, I trusted that if this door had closed, it was because there was another door, a better door, waiting to open. I didn't know when or where or how, but I chose to trust anyway. Thursday brought an unexpected gift. I was standing in line at the grocery store, tired and ready to get home, when the elderly woman in front of me realized she didn't have enough money for all her groceries. I watched as she started removing items from her cart, her hands trembling, her eyes filling with embarrassment. Without thinking, I stepped forward and offered to pay the difference. It wasn't a large amount, but you would have thought I had given her the world. She hugged me, tears streaming down her face, and told me that she had been praying for help, that she didn't know how she was going to make it through the week. In that moment, I realized that I had been so consumed with my own problems that I had forgotten the profound joy that comes from helping others. That small act of kindness didn't just change her day, it transformed mine. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in months. Friday was a day of reflection. I spent time journaling, something I hadn't done in years, and I was shocked by what poured out onto the pages. All the dreams I had abandoned, all the passions I had buried, all the parts of myself I had neglected in the name of being practical or responsible or grown up. I realized I had been living someone else's version of what my life should look like instead of creating my own. I had been so afraid of failure, so terrified of judgment, that I had stopped taking risks. I had stopped trying new things. I had stopped believing in possibilities. That night, I did something I hadn't done in over a year. I pulled out my old guitar, the one that had been gathering dust in the corner of my bedroom. My fingers were stiff. The chords didn't come as easily as they once had, but I played anyway. And for those few moments, I wasn't worried about tomorrow or regretful about yesterday. I was just present, just alive, just me. Music had always been my therapy, my joy, my way of expressing what words couldn't capture, and I had let it slip away. But that night, I reclaimed it. Saturday was a day of connection. I called people I had been meaning to reach out to for months. I told my best friend how much they meant to me. I called my parents. Instead of having a surface-level conversation, I asked them real questions about their lives, their dreams, their fears. I reconnected with old friends and made plans to see them soon. I realized that in trying to protect myself from the vulnerability of relationships, I had been isolating myself, cutting myself off from the very connections that make life meaningful. I also spent time alone, but differently than before. Not lonely alone, but peacefully alone. I cooked myself a nice meal, not because I had to eat, but because I wanted to nourish myself. I took a bath. I read a book that had nothing to do with self-improvement or productivity and everything to do with joy. I treated myself with the kindness and care I would show a dear friend. And now here I am, Sunday again, 7 days later, and I am not the same person I was last Sunday. I'm not saying all my problems have disappeared or that my life has suddenly become perfect. The challenges are still there. The uncertainties remain. But something fundamental has shifted inside me. I have shifted. I've remembered who I am beneath all the stress and worry and fear. I've reconnected with hope, with gratitude, with joy, with the understanding that every single day is a gift and how I choose to show up matters. This week taught me that transformation doesn't always come from massive dramatic changes. Sometimes it comes from a series of small intentional choices, choosing gratitude over complaint, choosing connection over isolation, choosing vulnerability over self-protection, choosing presence over distraction, choosing to see the beauty that exists alongside the pain. I am sharing this with you because I know I'm not the only one who has felt lost, who has forgotten what it feels like to truly live instead of just survive. Maybe you're in that place right now. Maybe you've been there for a while. Maybe you've started to believe that this heaviness is just a reality now. But I want you to know that change is possible. Hope is real. You are not stuck, even when it feels like you are. You don't have to wait for perfect circumstances or a dramatic intervention or someone else to save you. You can start right now, right where you are, with what you have. Take a walk. Speak gratitude out loud. Have that hard conversation. Let yourself feel your feelings. Do something kind for someone else. Reconnect with something that brings you joy. Reach out to someone you love. Treat yourself with compassion. Your life can change from Sunday to Sunday. Mine did, and if it can happen for me, it can happen for you. You are stronger than you know, more resilient than you realize, and more deserving of good things than you believe. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't stop believing that your life can be different, better, fuller, richer. This is your reminder that you matter, that your story isn't over, that the best chapters might still be ahead. From my Sunday to yours, I'm sending you courage and hope, and the reminder that you are not alone in this. We're all just trying to find our way, and sometimes sharing our stories is how we light the path for each other. May this week bring you unexpected joy, surprising connections, and the courage to choose hope over fear. You've got this.